Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is my feature author of the month of August. Award-winning author, reader, instructor, crafter, and of course, just having a ADHD, no other than Miss Julie Rowe. Welcome to Book 101, Miss Julie, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thanks, Daniel. I am so excited to be here with you today. I have been writing for well over 20 years. I enjoy the creative process. I enjoy helping other people find their creative outlets. So I do quite a bit of teaching online. I write every day. I craft things every day.
Yes.
I'm a busy gal.
Yes, busy indeed. I can see all your books. You're truly busy, Miss Julie. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Hoping for more award-winning pieces to come. So today let's talk about being you, award-winning author. What does a being an award-winning author mean to you personally and professionally?
Personally, it means that I'm reaching my readers and I'm giving them a good story. That's the biggest thing for me in writing, is to make sure that I'm providing whatever that person who's reading my story needs. So fun, entertainment, and sometimes just a really good feel-good moment by the end, because I believe in happy endings. So that's what I want to give to readers. Professionally,
Definitely. Yes.
it's nice to know that my writing measures up and maybe is as good as anyone else's. I prefer actually to have readers enjoy it. Sometimes I don't always agree with what other people write, so I kind of go with what the readers are doing.
Yes. And Miss Julie, again, congratulations for being award-winning author. How has winning a major awards changed your writing process or creative approach?
I have added more self-editing to my process. So I will leave my first draft alone for a week or two and then come back to it so that I have fresh eyes, so I can see all the things that I've spelt wrong. I do that a lot. Drop words here and there. Mistakes. Sometimes I've changed a character's name and I don't catch it until I do start doing that self-editing. I also have a trusted assistant who goes through all of my stuff and really helps me see the things that I can't because I'm too close to it. Sometimes it's a question about a character and their development. Sometimes it's about the plot line. But it's really important to have a trusted team or friends or people around you that can help you figure out, okay, is what I've written ready, or does it need some more work?
Interesting. Yeah, Miss Julie, what is the most surprising lesson you've learned about craft through your award-winning work?
Wow, that's a great question. The most surprising thing.
Yes.
The most surprising thing is that it is as hard to write that story today as it was when I first started. And it doesn't get easier. I think it gets more interesting as time goes by, because when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, took me a year and a half to write that first book. A year and a half. I had small children. I wrote 4 pages a week. Now I write 1,500 words a day. So I've definitely sped up, but it's still just as difficult. It's still just as much work. And I still question, am I good enough for this? Like, is my story good enough? Every story, I still question that. And despite us, awards on how many books I've published or anything like that, I still find it as difficult, as rewarding, and I still question, am I good enough? And I think that is one of the things that I constantly want to learn from other people. How do they do it? How do they develop their characters? How do they create a plot that's interesting and will keep the reader glued to the pages so they can't put the book down? I'm very interested in learning how other writers do it as well.
Let's talk about the winning work, Miss Julie. Walk us through the moment you learned you won. What was the experience like?
That was pretty surreal. I because I the story won that one. It's called Saving the Rifleman, and it's part of the War Girls series. That's it's a World War One story. And I had worked with a well-published author. Her name is Laurie Wilde, and she has many, 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 many books out, movies on Hallmark and everywhere else. And I had worked with her for a while on that story, and it took a long time for me to get a publishing contract with Harlequin, about 2 years actually. And so when the story was published, I didn't expect anything. I wasn't looking at an award. I entered the contest anyway, but I wasn't expecting anything. And Laurie Wilde actually tagged me on Facebook and said, "You beat me. I have a story in the same contest and you beat me." And she said she was so proud of me, and that was just huge. I cried. It was it was a real moment for me because I so admire Laurie Wilde's work and her work ethic and how she's just such a kind person and a generous teacher. And I just, wow, I couldn't believe it.
Did you know while writing these War Girls that it was something special, or did recognition surprise you the most?
I think it was the recognition did surprise me quite a bit. The story itself, I based this on a real person. It was a nurse during World War One, and I used a lot of real world, what actually happened elements in the story. Unfortunately, in real life, she was killed, but in the story, I gave her a happy ending. And the story is all about how women really do a lot behind the scenes, uh, even in war, to look after people, to care for people, to help them. And so the story ended up becoming one that I really felt was very timely. And sometimes people need to hear that even if you don't know who's doing who's looking after you in a hospital or a clinic, they're probably putting in really long hours. They're probably giving up time with their family. They've gone to school, they've learned all kinds of things, and we should appreciate those people.
We truly appreciate you, people. What specific elements do you think made this work stand out to award judge or judges?
I think it was the character development and just showing how much these characters, how much heart they put into what they did in the story, um, how much they had to work to get to their happy ending. And when you can show that struggle on the page for a reader or for anyone else, that's what makes that story good. That's what really shines, is the struggle the characters go through as they work through all of the challenges that they have and making decisions and experiencing what repercussions might happen because of those decisions. That's the part that I think was really made a difference.
Definitely. Again, we salute you for that, Miss Julie, for sharing your story to the world. Let's talk about the creative process. How does your approach to writing a differ now compared to before you won a major awards?
Ah, when I first started, I wrote a very detailed outline. So, 5 to 10 pages. This is who I'm writing about, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and then this is going to happen. And I used that for several books, but as over time, my outlines have gotten shorter and shorter and shorter because it isn't the plot
Shorter
that
and
works
shorter.
for me. It's the characters for
Okay.
me. So now I need to know who I'm writing about and what their goals are and what their challenges are. And the story, I kind of put my poor characters in the worst possible situation I can think of. And then they have to live their way out. They have to figure out how to get out of whatever situation I've put them in. So it's all about the character's journey for me, and as a result, I don't do as much outlining. Once I have my characters figured out and I do write that down, then I just let it go and stick them in the situation and then let my creative brain loose. And we call that kind of writing by the seat of your pants. I'm not
Yes.
Have you
Yes,
heard that before?
indeed. A gardener, indeed. For sure, you're a gardener now. Comparing before, you are architect, as they said. So, how do you balance writing for awards versus writing for your readers?
Oh, I don't really look at it that way. I write for the reader all the time, and hopefully I win awards, but that's not my goal. My goal is always writing for the reader. Um, People are pretty smart. If you don't write well, they're going to figure it out.
True.
They won't finish your book if you don't write well.
They
So,
scrutinize you.
yeah, that's right. They're going to figure it out. And in fact, I have to tell students that in writing classes that you do not have to tell your reader everything. Sometimes it's fun for the reader to figure it out with character. So if you're writing a mystery, you don't want to give it all away.
Yes,
You let them
suspense.
figure it out because readers are smart. And the challenge though for authors is to you can't use sometimes real life inspiration because people do really dumb things in real life, and a reader won't they won't let that happen. There's a thing called too stupid to live. They don't like characters who do stupid things. It's just not believable. Even though that stupid thing happened in real life somewhere, readers don't like it. So you end up having to make sure everything is logical and reasonable, even though human beings often are not.
True. Miss Julie, let's talk about the industry or industry insights. What's one thing about literary awards you wish more writers understood?
I wish more writers understood that you are writing for your reader and the awards are a bonus.
True.
And it's it's not about awards. It's about touching people. It's about giving them a story that leaves them feeling uplifted, inspired, interested in the world, wanting to get out and do something. That's what you should work for. Awards are
Yes.
the bonus.
Very empowering answer, Miss Julie. Truly, truly empowering. How important are awards for an author's career in today's publishing landscape?
That's a good question because the publishing landscape has changed quite a bit. When I
Yes.
first started, my first book came out in 2011. And at that point, the publishers held a lot of the control. They were the gatekeepers. If you didn't sell to a publisher, you probably weren't going to see your book anywhere. And since then, self-publishing has become a huge thing, and writers no longer have to go to a publisher if they don't want to. So I think there's fewer books that are the same quality because there's so much self-publishing. And if self-published authors took the same amount of work to put out a book as the publishers do, there'd be a lot of really good stories out there. It's you can't take shortcuts when you're self-publishing. You need to still go through an editing process, not just with yourself, but with someone who's going to give you developmental edits and line edits, and then goes to look for all those spelling mistakes you've made, because there's lots, and you might think there isn't, but there are. And you don't want somebody on Kindle, for example, complaining that there's spelling errors in your book. It doesn't look good. So quality work. Write a good story, find a good editor, work with a good editor, work with someone who's really good at the grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Put out a quality product.
Quality products indeed. And Miss Julie, what advice would you give to authors submitting their work for awards consideration?
Make sure that story is clean. It's pristine. You've had an opportunity to look at feedback from other people to see if there's anything you can improve. And also, just write the story of your heart, because that will show up on the page. Write what makes you engaged and motivated. Write what makes you happy.
Right. Makes you happy, people. Your passion, for sure. Let's talk about the challenges and growth. And thank you for that advice, Miss Julie. Has award recognition created any unexpected pressures or challenges in your career?
Well, of course, the pressures are everybody wants an excellent book every time.
True.
And I guess that leads to part of my issue with, is it good enough when I write a story? I always ask that question. Is it good enough? Is it better than the last book I wrote? Because I always want to write a better book. So frequently, I am always questioning that. And that is a challenge for me, and for a lot of authors, because we all want to do better every time. And it's hard to know. Make sure you're reading your reviews. Now, I'm going to say, don't panic when you read reviews, because a lot of authors, oh my God, I got a 3-star, and then they get all upset. No. That's not how you should look at reviews.
Yes.
Reviews are about as much as about the reader as the author. Readers bring their own experience to your story. They filter your story through their own personality and experiences, their culture, and so every reader has a unique experience of your story. So if you read your reviews, read it as if you are looking at individuals and how they felt when they read your book. And is that what you meant for them to feel?
Yes.
And if it isn't, that's where you go back to your work and you say, okay, I wanted to create this emotion and I didn't for this person. Why didn't that happen? What could I do differently to maybe increase the chance of creating the emotions that I want? And it's those kinds of questions that you ask yourself that can really help you become a better writer every time you write a book.
A better writer, people. And please learn from those criticism. Criticism make you perfect.
Criticism is useful. It shows where improvement could be made.
Yes.
It might not be something you even choose to do. I mean, sometimes I will listen to somebody and I'm like, well, I don't agree. And you don't have to do anything with it, but it's always useful to consider how can the story be made better? And that's what reviews can help you with is
Yes, definitely. Miss Julia's award-winning author, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
oh, short term, I'm always writing another story. That's probably never going to change until somebody takes away my computer.
For sure, you will do it with the rest of your life.
Yeah. I told my husband, he says, well, he retired last year and I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm never going to retire.
Good
So
job. Good job, Miss Julie.
long term, again, I'm just going to keep writing stories and engaging with my readers and talking to authors who are also published but also aspiring authors. I do teach quite a bit online, so I really enjoy teaching others. So that's something I will also continue in the long term.
Well, good luck to your goals, Miss Julie, and looking forward for more success and, of course, award winning. And who knows, you will be a best selling author next year. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there? One, to be an award winning
Never,
author.
the number one thing anyone needs who wants to be an author, number one thing is persistence, because you will get a lot of no's in this business, but that doesn't mean never. It just means that's not the right person on the right day with the right project. It doesn't matter how many no's you get. Eventually you will get a yes. Persist, persist, persist.
Yes. Try and try until you succeed, people. And
Yep.
consistency, yeah, consistency indeed. And thank you for that advice, Miss Julie. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Uh, okay, so one of my favorite writing books that I often recommend is by James Scott Bell, and it's called Writing from the Middle. And it is about writing your plot outline, not from the beginning or the end, but from the middle of the story. Really different way to look at it. And I have found that it really helps people get over what they call the sagging middle in their book, where they kind of run out of things to do. They know the ending, but they don't know what to do in the middle. And that book really helps.
Yes. They're having a mental block at the middle, in the middle of their writing.
It
And
happens to everybody.
yes, definitely it happens. And thank you for that recommended book, Miss Julie. Does award success influence what you choose to write next?
No,
Not at all.
not at all. Not at all. Uh, my imagination goes 100 miles an hour every day. So I've always got a story that wants to be told. always. So that's what I do. I'm not writing for the award. I'm writing for the reader and to tell the stories that just don't want to be shut up.
Awesome. Yes, awesome. And Miss Julie, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101, Love Letters in its third season, and my Movie 101 review and Music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Miss Julie, what's one dream project you have not tackled yet that you'd love to pursue?
Wow, that is a good question too. I think I would like to start a new series, and with the idea of just showing people a world where we don't have to hate each other so much.
Yes, people
You
hate
know,
each other too much.
it's just there's so much conflict everywhere, and I'd like to write a world where that's not there.
Yes, definitely. Miss Julie Rowe, thank you so much for being award-winning author, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support all your books, most especially your upcoming Sinners?
Cherished by the sinners.
Cherished by the sinners. Interesting. So tell us what is all about.
This is a romance novel with mafia and vampires.
Wow, interesting.
Yep.
So please do.
Yeah, support my books. You can find me online at julieroweauthor.com.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Julie Rowe, because if you support her, for sure, more and more and more empowering novels to come. So, Miss Julie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.